Hey everybody, this is Dronix here, and welcome back to another devlog. This is going to be devlog number 8, but gonna go ahead and start a new segment. It's going to be known as data management, and what that is going to entail is just a little bit about scene management, a little bit about save systems, basic save systems that I've implemented, and as well as inventory and stuff like that. So really complex stuff, but I'm gonna see if I can try to break it down for you all. In this case, what you're looking at is a old version of the kind of like the title screen. This is a little bit of scene management being implemented right here. Let me just put that right there. Don't worry about that. As you can see, I'm just kind of like zooming. This is the title screen right here. And using a little bit of scene management, I have several options, literally options. I don't know why I have two. Okay, I think one doesn't work. Play game or exit the game. It's very basic building blocks of developing this. And by clicking options, I'm taken to a screen. Um, just two basic, I guess, bars that you can scroll to max it or minimize the music, as well as any sound effects. There's gonna be more in the future, as well as a mute button. Obviously, the other option tab was actually load game, and as you can see right here, it shows a little title of the scene, and it shows the scene segment. What actual level is it? And of course, this isn't pertain to level 5 officially, but this is just number 5 on the index. So in the scene management, if you're ever building your build in Unity, you're going to see that you need to input several scenes into the index builder, whatever it's called, so that way you can actually build the game itself. So this is actually number 5 of where it's saved as. And I think my play game doesn't work, so just start struggling through here. So anyways, I just paused it right now, so it's gonna include a little bit of like this, kind of like a little transitional scene between scenes. Obviously, there's gonna be some tips that will change over progression of the game. The little autosave logo that I created, still tweaking it a bit. And then of course you have your loading bar, press spacebar to continue. So just like some visual basic UIs being implemented to kind of give the game a little bit more, I guess, more juice. Man, this is old. So anyways, as you can see, I'm still using the basic health system that I originally went with the 3 health bars. And I don't know what the hell that's going on right there. Weird. Okay. Let's go on to the next video. See if maybe we can work some magic here. So onto this one, as you can see, there's several objects in the scene. I have a little, I guess you can call it like a bag, I called it, where you can actually pick up items and it'll appear in your inventory. So as you can see, there's some other objects. They're gems, and then meat. That's a very big piece of steak, and it's gonna show you what you pick up as you hover over each item. The main issue is that it picked up the rest of the items, even though I don't have space for it. So this is just me just kind of working through it, trying to figure it out, working through basic dialogue. That's actually an NPC. Whenever you're in an area, a trigger area, you can actually activate it and actually see what dialogue the NPC has, and you can also re-talk to them. And that's just basic currency that I'm just picking up. So right here, I'm kind of working as far as like how close I gotta be to interact with them, and if I walk away, does it stop interacting with them? So that's why I have like these blocks right here to kind of work with it. As you can see right here, I'm actually moving some objects around in my inventory. So a little bit of testing on that. I think that's it for this video. Next one. As you can see, there's more colors. So you can see kind of like a side-by-side view of kind of what's going on. So right here, if you can notice, under my canvas game object, I actually have my inventory screen and an equipment screen. So these two are two separate elements. So my inventory screen is going to be basically what's in this little segment box. And then my equipment is going to be what I can equip. So I created this in the ideal, maybe I can have Kairo equip some clothes, equip some armor. But in the future, this got rolled out just because it was too complex for the game that I was trying to build. But it was more for like research, especially if I'm going to be making my second game or making any future updates to kind of have this. Just, you know how it is being an indie game developer. You just constantly just keep building and building and building until you're like, nah, this ain't gonna work. It's all about trial and error. So, but it's cool to show you, and the reason I want to show you is because of the progress of how far this game has gotten and what I've learned over the course of learning this. And as you can see, I'm under player equipment. I created my own folders, you know, test inventory. And of course I have player equipment, player inventory. Like I said, they're two separate elements and databases. So if you can see right here, this kind of gives you a little bit of information about the inventory object script and what it entails. I'm not gonna go into this because it can get very ugly and my programming is not the greatest. I'm not a programmer at heart, so for those programmers out there, please don't bash me. I'm still learning. Anyways, as you can see on this other screen, I have items. So of course these are the different items that I created: amethyst, bones, Deben silver, emerald, meat, ruby, sapphire. So you may be asking, why am I creating all these different objects? Why can't I just have just a basic game object in a scene? Well, in a sense, this builds up to data management. And what I mean by that, I mean, what if I want to save the game? What's going to happen to all of these objects that I pick up? And then I close the application. Well, I lose all that information, right? So the reason why we have an inventory system, equipment system, a currency system is that whenever we save our game, we want to hold on to this information. And like I said, I'm not going to go into the depths of the scripting because there's many different scripts that you got to create to make this work. But they all work together to be able to hold and store information. So this is a very basic form of the safe system and data management. I know there's more complex systems in place from other games, but this is just what I created to just kind of test things out. And I just kind of want to show y'all as I scroll through this. Now in this one, let me see, I think this one has the same thing right here though. I get a little bit in depth. I'm gonna pause it right here. So this is the player inventory that I created. These are different attributes. So basically, I believe this is in regards to these 4 slots. In this case, they're called elements, and I created buffs. So you can actually see agility, intellect, stamina, strength, some sort of like D&D kind of information going on right here. Some basic RPG terminology. So now, if I insert something, apparently it says right here, place ruby on equipment, allowed items, arms. So in this case, that ruby was apparently like, think of it like a gauntlet or arm piece, and stamina was updated, value is now 8. And if you can see right here, base value is 0, right? Right? So this means the base value is like, think of it like your base character. You know, instead of like, you know, when you level up, like in level 2, level 3, you may get some additional values, some permanent values, but when you equip items, they get you modified values, and this stacks on top of your base value. So some interesting additions going on right here, and this can all factor into health and, you know, like armor and weapons. And as you can tell, like this goes so far in depth that this was just too complex for me to mess with, and this game was, I didn't want it to turn into some sort of D&D game. Like that was not within the realism of my scope, and I understand that. But it was definitely a very interesting system that I created, and I had a lot of fun with it. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll definitely see the system in the future, and maybe implement this. But for now, this is definitely not going to be in the final product of the game. But you know, things can change, right? It's all about being an indie developer, especially when you're by yourself, is that anything is possible whenever you put your mind into it. That's all I have. Anyways, so a little bit about data management in a nutshell, basically a little updates about my game. So I hope that those that are watching and interested, please stay interested as I knock out these videos. There's going to be a lot more in the future, and I can't wait to show y'all more. So other than that, appreciate y'all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.